Hey everybody, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm just doing this next video. I wanted to today. I wanted to go through and start distributing our $20 from the Cointree account. But as you can see by the screen, I'm still having a bit of trouble getting verified. I'm not sure if it's because I have a separate Cointree account, so I'm essentially using two accounts at the moment for Cointree, and I'm not sure that they like that. So for the time being, our now I think it's $19 now is currently stuck, but I will get it moved. But that's okay because I wanted to do a video about something tonight. I didn't want to just let the night slip on by. It's not often that I get a chance to sit down, and I had planned to sit down and speak with you guys tonight. It's a shame that I couldn't do this live. It really bothers me actually that I can't do a screen share with Facebook whilst doing a camera. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but that's okay. I'm going to generate this video. I'll post it onto YouTube, and I'll send the link to you guys. So as you can see here, I'm trying to send the coin through to the exchange. But I thought what I'd do for this lesson is I would go into a little bit more of the method that I'm planning on teaching. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to run through a PowerPoint presentation. So I've just thrown it together. It's literally taking me maybe 10 minutes to do this. So it's really, really basic, but you have to remember, for the purposes of what I'm doing, from what I'm teaching in this group, is I'm doing it for the purposes of laying down foundations of a training. So I haven't talked too much about this, and I'm still developing the way I'm going to proceed with it, but I figure that if I can lay down the groundwork of the training for this Facebook group, and then I can get the feedback from the group as to whether they're finding it useful or not, and the things that I'm missing out on, or maybe things that I need to include, what I'll do is, once everybody's happy with it and everybody seems to be getting all the information that they need, then what I'll do is I'll maybe build a course, or I'll do a series of professional videos, and then we can build a course of some sort, and then we can maybe on-sell that to people that are interested, because there is a lot of people out there that are interested in getting into cryptocurrency trading, and it's not often what people think it is. I was speaking to Kate, a member of this group, I think it was yesterday, and she was surprised at the fact that me as a trader, I only look at my portfolio maybe 2 to 3 times a week, and that's a maximum. There's a few reasons for that. Number one is because I don't trust my own emotions, and that's one of the things I'll be talking about a bit later in this slideshow. But you'll quickly come to realize that you just can't trust no matter how good you think you're getting at this, you can't trust your own emotions in doing the trades. So that's one thing. You need to remove yourself from the exchange, because otherwise, and this is the second point, you'll constantly be on the exchange looking at the prices. And I'm going to give out a few apps that you can put onto your phone. Now, I personally don't use these apps. That might sound funny that I'm going to offer these apps that I don't use, but I have used them. Excuse me. And they're useful in the fact that it allows you to track your trading, and you quite literally get an overall an overall dollar value. So you can literally refresh it, and then as you refresh it, the dollars go up and they go down. So you can quickly see how addictive this can become. So I deleted it because I found it consuming me. I would wake up at 3 a.m. and I would be looking at my phone and to see how my portfolio is going, and there would be nights, and my wife will attest to this. There was nights that an investment was plummeting. One of my coins was plummeting. It was Ethereum. Sorry, not Ethereum. It was Electronium, which I'll talk about in a few webcasts and a few videos time. And it was just plummeting, and I literally got up at 3 or 4 a.m. I can't remember what it was, and came in and sat down on my computer and sold. And that's what it gets like, and you don't want to get to that. You honestly, you don't want to get to that point. And now there are ways around that. So some of the exchanges, they offer things called stop loss. And again, this is something that I'll talk about when we get into the trading aspect of it. But it's one of those things that a lot of people don't use it. Ironically, KuCoin, I've found out, doesn't have this feature. And I've now sort of changed my tune a little bit on KuCoin. But I'll talk about this later. I don't want to get too carried away. There's so much to talk about with regards to cryptocurrency, and I don't want to bombard you with too much information all at once. So look, let's get into what I call the UnSEXY method. And I came up with this name because I had a few people contact me, and they were really interested in, can you teach me? And I want to make lots of money, and I need this additional income. It's a necessity for my family and for my well-being, and we're relying on this, and it's very full on. And that's cool, and it's understandable. When you read a headline like the one that was written about myself, about $500 to $10,000, it's easy to think that you just throw money at the problem and you pick a few winners and off you go. But the reality is it takes a lot of tact, we're going to call it, and a lot of understanding of your own emotions, a lot of frugality with regards to how and where you're putting your money and how you're managing your portfolio, because you want to do this in a safe way. And I don't want to be one of these people. This is the last, like, hand to heart, this is one of the last things I ever want to do is to come across as one of these people that are spruiking something. Like, this is a very sensible method, and the fact that it's very sensible in a very hyped up marketplace is what led me to the conclusion to start calling it the UnSEXY method. So if you're looking for like quick, if you're looking to get rich quick type thing, I'm going to say, listen to what I have to say. If you find it that unsexy, then there are a number of other people out there that will teach you to pick all the winners, okay? And you may have a few successes, but I can guarantee you that when the emotional and your mind, if you don't have your mindset dialed in and you let your emotions control you, no matter how much money that you make as a profit, the likelihood is that as the further you go along, the more risk you're going to be taking, because you haven't laid down the foundations of a conservative approach to a highly volatile market. Now, I'm not going to lecture too much more about that. I reckon let's just get started with this. So, the UnSEXY method. As you can see here, you can look at I've got Ethereum, Bitcoin, and altcoins. So ALTS is altcoins for those that aren't aware. So that's an altcoin is anything that isn't Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was obviously number one. It was first. It was the MySpace of social media. But having said that, we all know where MySpace is now. Ironically enough, who knows, with the way that Facebook's going, maybe we'll all be back on MySpace soon, but maybe or maybe not. But anyway, these are your fundamentals, your basics, your basic coins that you need to have in your portfolio, because these are the ones that are driving, that are essentially the platform that everything else is built around. So you have coins, and when I say coins, there's thousands, tens of thousands, I would say by now, because there were thousands when I got involved in this in August or September last year. So you have to keep in mind that there's probably tens of thousands of coins now. At that time, in September last year, there were 3 new coins coming out per day. Okay, now some of these coins are what were dubbed shit coins, and that's the real term, shit coins, and that's because they're based on nothing. So what was happening is people were realizing that people were going stupid with their money and just throwing money at things, because ultimately what's happening is people were purchasing coins on the basis that they thought people would buy them at a higher price, not necessarily because they believed in whatever the coin was there to support, what usage it has. Because you have to remember that the coins that I invest into, and the ones that I'll be encouraging you to invest into and giving you those options, are coins that actually have what's called a utility purpose. A utility purpose means that it can be used as a transactional piece between, between people, between companies. Also, excuse me, there's so many amazing, innovative technologies coming out at the moment, whereby, like, one, for example, is LISK, L-I-S-K. LSK is the ticker, so that the number, the acronym in the exchange, and that is a coin that is a currency that will be used by artificial intelligence to transact with one another. So just let that sink in. That's a very long-term prospect, and it's one that I would recommend putting a few dollars into. But that's the beauty about it, is because you can, if you understand the fundamentals behind a technology that's being developed of the coin, it's easy to say, hey, that's actually really interesting, and the team is good, and I've looked them up, and I look on their Facebook page and I see that they're developing X, Y, and Z, and it's going to be ready within 3 months type thing. Oh yeah, I'll put $20 on that type thing. It's a worthy, because you've done the prior research, and this is the thing that people don't quite realize. When people say it's gambling, it's gambling to a point that if you're putting money on the shit coin, on the basis that you believe that you're only putting money in this thing because you think that's, somebody down the road in a few months' time is going to want to purchase it from you at a higher price. If you're doing it for that reason, then yes, that is gambling, because you're not basing your decision on anything. You're basing it on the presumption that excuse me, that somebody's going to want to buy. Somebody's going to want to buy that for some reason, even though it's nothing tangible. There's nothing backing it. Excuse me, I was going to have a quick drink. So that's shitcoins, and the most famous shitcoin out there is called Dogecoin, with a D-O-G-E. That's how they spell dog, and I don't actually know what type of dog it is. It's a certain breed of dog that's used in all the memes on Facebook. So if you don't know what a meme is, then yeah, M-E-M-E, like anyway, it's almost like it's a subculture of Facebook. I don't want to get too far away from what we're doing here, but anyway, the king of all the shitcoins is called Dogecoin, D-O-G-E. So have a look at it, look it up, Google it, find out more about it, and you'll see what I mean by a traditional shitcoin. And having said that, though, and this is a bit that's going to surprise you, is people have made millions off of Dogecoin. It's incredible. So it's famous for being a coin about nothing, and a lot of people like to use it as an indicator for what cryptocurrency represents, but it's not the case. If you're a smart individual, and you'll see that a lot of the brightest minds, people are leaving Google, people are leaving Facebook, they're leaving Amazon, the smartest and best minds in the world, they're leaving these companies, and they're working with blockchain technology now. This is the future. This is where it's all going. And it's the companies that are developing coins, and they're developing new ways of using the technology that are going to come in the they're going to come out in the end, as being successful, and this is what you are investing into. So just remember that. Okay, so getting back to Bitcoin, Ethereum. Ethereum is what's known as the ERC20 platform. It's a form of blockchain, and I'm going to assume that you have watched that Disrupt YouTube series that I put on the start of this group. If not, scroll down, watch that series. It goes for like 45 minutes, and that's all of them. And I think the episodes are between 5 to 10 minutes long. And I have to highly recommend that you that you take the time to watch those videos, because you need to have a basic understanding of what you're investing into. Because you're going to look like an idiot when people come up to you and they say to you, oh, what's about this cryptocurrency? Can you tell me what it's about? And you are going to look at them and say, oh, I just did what this guy said online, and he's doing really well, so I just did what he said, and now I'm worth this much. And it's sort of like, nobody's going to respect you when you say that to them. So look, come on, don't sort of get. I don't want to get carried away with this, but do the work. If you're going to put your money into this thing, you've got to know why are you doing it? And you have to believe in the technology, because you'll find that people like myself that wholeheartedly believe in this technology and where it's all going are the ones that have done the research and they understand the technology. Once you understand it, you too are going to have a light bulb moment, and you're going to say, wow, like, this is incredible. This so what's his name, Satoshi Nakamoto, or I can't remember the guy that built it. He's an enigma, by the way. Nobody knows who he is. It's an alias, which is kind of adds to the story, which is kind of cool. Anyway, stop it. All right, now ERC20 is a form of blockchain. There is a lot of ICOs being developed, including one that I'm invested into at the moment. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that at a later time. And there is Bitcoin, which is the other platform that it is ICOs. ICO is a initial coin offering. So this is if you're developing a new technology that is going to for whatever that reason may be, then you start off by doing an ICO. It's the exact same as doing an IPO in the stock market, an initial public offering. And that just gives people, the investors, the chance to come in early at a discounted rate to purchase a stock, in this case to purchase the coin at a cheaper rate. Then when it gets released to the public, to the market and the exchanges, if the belief is that the price will skyrocket as it becomes more available, more volume gets thrown into the coin, and therefore the price goes up. Okay, so alts we're going to talk about, but this is, so yeah, coming down to the distribution in your portfolio, I can only tell you what I do. I do a 40% of both Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then I play with 20%. Again, unsexy. It's not fun, because you're going to be at the mercy of the two biggest, the highest volume coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, but these two are the most reliable. This is like having your blue chip stocks in the stock market. If you're in Australia, it's like holding on to your banks and your Wesfarmers and your BHPs and all those companies that are reputable and they're not going anywhere, and that they provide a necessary service to the country, or in the case of America, they provide a necessary service. Like Amazon, for example, Google, people use it all the time. It's not going anywhere. It's a safe bet. So this is the same thing with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it will go up. We're seeing what Bitcoin is doing. It's down a little bit at the moment, but that's fine. It's a good opportunity to buy a little bit more. And Ethereum, the exact same thing. It's just another form of a blue chip coin that people buy into. So it's like grabbing a series of tokens, and then you can use those tokens as they become more valuable. You can buy more with them, and which will enable you to buy more altcoins, for example, if you wanted to diversify into different altcoins. So number one priority in the unsexy method is get the capital investment back. And there's a few reasons for that. So a lot of people, parents included, come in with this idea that, right, I've got $500, I'm going to throw it at the market, and I don't care if I lose it. That is reckless. I know what you're thinking. You're going, what? It's $500, and you're making all this money, and you're saying you don't care. One of the most famous quotes by Warren Buffett was, "Don't lose money." And then it's something. There's another part of it. It said, what is it? Rule number one is don't lose money, and rule number two is see rule number one, or something like that. You should never, ever, ever be investing into anything with the likelihood or with the idea in your head that you're going to lose that money. Never. Okay? So therefore, this is, I could call it the Warren Buffett method. Could you imagine the lawsuit I would get as a result? But in the unsexy method, if you're putting $500 as an initial investment into the market, our number one aim is to get you that $500 back into your pocket. Not sitting in Bitcoin in your exchange, not sitting in your Trezor. Not sitting in your Trezor. I'll go into these in a few videos time, don't worry. Not sitting in your Trezor, back in your bank account. Now, whether you do that via paying off bills, like that's what I do, because I was going to have to use my own fiat currency out of my salary to do that anyway. So it's then just money in my pocket. So that's just something that I personally do. So excuse me, but that is the aim, and this is what I tell people. Now, there's a few reasons. So yeah, how do we do it? UnSEXY method. So this is something that I've developed myself. This is what I was saying before. It's baby boomer proof, which means it's safe from critics, people that a lot of the baby boomers, especially the ones that have earned their lot in life, and they're in they're in a defense in a what's the expression? They're not looking to take. They're minimizing risk, is what I'm saying. That's what it's all about. Baby boomer proof in the fact that, number one, it's going to be easy to understand, and I can talk in a way, and I can help people in a way to bring them up to the understanding that they need. And number two, it's going to allow them to, it's baby boomer proof in the point that they're not looking for high risk. Well, a lot of them aren't looking for high risk because need to be conservative at that point. You don't want to go losing it all at that stage, do you? The other one is it's uber conservative by crypto standards. It's a crazy market out there. It is crazy, and I can't wait to show you the way that it all operates, and the real time way that the market reacts to things. Like an article comes out and things quite literally, the prices drop before your eyes can drop. If you got money in the market, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, like in the space of just a minute or two. It's incredible watching it. But having said that, it can jump up that much within a minute or two. If there's somebody waiting to buy it at a cheaper price, you can guarantee they're sitting at their screen watching, or they've got a sell order, a predetermined sell order ready to execute. It's not fun, but you're going to sleep at night. And that's what I was alluding to earlier, is that if you imagine this, you put $500 in, you get your $500 back, you pay off your water bill, you pay off your telephone bill, you pay off whatever bill, you know that you made that money back. Do you know how good it is to have your initial investment removed from something and you're literally playing with profit? It's fun because you don't care. If you lose it, you get to tell people, you say, it's alright because I got my money back anyway, I'm just playing with profit. And that ability to be able to remove your emotions from your trading, in the fact that you're not so consumed by every decision that you make, but rather if it all fell over tomorrow, that you're still going to be okay and that you didn't lose a single dime as a result of doing it, only your time. It's a really fun way to trade. You have to believe me. So that's the other thing. So why is it unsexy? As I said before, the trenches are full on. There's so much happening, especially if there's like a crazy period in the market, or there's been some crazy news come out about a particular coin. It's just the flashing. It's like going to the pokies, or going to play a poker machine, or a slot machine, as they call it in the US, I think. And you see all the flashing and all the noises, and everything's just happening all at once. It's very overwhelming. You don't have as much control of your emotions as you think you do. Everybody will come to a point where they'll make a few good trades and they'll start to get confident, and I think, I reckon I can work this out. I reckon I've seen this before. I'm getting to know the market. I'm getting to know how this works. I'm going to do this, this, and this. As soon as you hit that point, you can almost be guaranteed that things are going to start going wrong, because you're going to get complacent. You become at the mercy of the whales. Whales are people that have a big stake in a particular coin, or a particular in a particular coin, or they've got a vested interest. So what can often happen is people will, with a lot of money, will try and manipulate markets. What was it called? Can't remember the name of the expression. Shorting the market. That's what I was trying to remember. There will be people that will be trying to short the coins. They'll be trying to get people to put their prices down. They'll make it look like there's a big sell-off coming, and therefore people will just keep selling because they want to get out before the big drop occurs. But the drop never occurs, it disappears. Anyway, we'll get into that another time. Only check your portfolio 2 or 3 times per week. You will become addicted. Fees do eat into your portfolio like anything. You know, if you keep every time you touch or you do a trade, you lose money. You do. And it's a sensible approach in an unsensible market. How do I use it? So, you ride the waves of reliable coins. Typically those on the top 20, and I'll show you a website where you can monitor all the coins all at once, and you can see a graph next to one another. So you'll get to a point where you'll have favorite coins. For me, my favorite's a Litecoin, LTC ticker, and BCH, which is Bitcoin Cash. Now, me personally, I've made a lot of money off of Bitcoin Cash. It's called my darling coin. Some of you may have seen me referring to it as so. But I've made a lot of good money, and the reason for that is because Bitcoin Cash is sort of the cousin of Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash has a faster transactional value than Bitcoin, so which means even though it wasn't first and it wasn't the first to be adopted, it has had a lot of good press. Japan are a big fan of Bitcoin Cash, and it's just like the dark horse. It's just sitting in the corner waiting to go. So I'm always into Bitcoin Cash. I'm massive onto that. And also people are using it particularly for ICOs. A lot of ICOs are using that as a form of transactional currency to purchase coins for their coin. So, for example, there's an ICO you can trade. They're happy to trade with you their Bitcoin Cash in exchange for their coins, whereas a lot of ICOs won't do that with particular coins. They'll just stick to your Bitcoins and your Ethereums. The other thing is they've got a lot of volume. So when there's a lot of news, a lot of people will throw money at it, and there'll be a lot of people. Yeah, and the price fluctuations can be pretty significant. If you can pick them out and you can get to know the coin, you can actually make some really big gains because you understand the nature of it. So you have to become specialized in a few particular coins. And then there's also going to be a portion of coins that you want to put, a portion of your portfolio that you'll put into coins that you just believe in. You understand the technology. Power Ledger, POWR, is a Western Australian company that is looking to add energy to the blockchain. They've just recently been invited to Neckler Island, Richard Branson's Neckler Island, after winning a competition where they're going to pitch Richard Branson about it. So that's really cool. Monero is, I'm pretty sure they're getting involved with MasterCard. Lisk is what we talked about earlier. Steam is another one. These are just a few. But you'll get to know the technology, what's worth putting money into, what do you believe into, and this is the fun bit, because you're actually going to learn a little bit more about the technology that's involved. Now, anyway, let's have a bit of a look at Exchange. I don't want this to go on too long. We're already at 28 minutes. Quickly jump into KuCoin. So, as you can see here, we're talking about earlier how these coins that are transacted in and out of. So there's your BTC, your Bitcoin. You got the Ethereum. Neo is a Chinese. It's a Chinese coin that is it's not decentralized. It's a banker's coin. So if it's an interesting one that's had quite an interesting history, and it's risen up quite a lot lately. If there's going to be a massive adoption of cryptocurrency, it's on a government level. Neo is very interesting. Keep your eye on that one. USDT is your tether, and that is what mimics the US dollar. So that's your safe house. If things are all going to shit, you're going to put it into tether because tether doesn't move. Last time I looked, tether was worth $2 trillion. This just gives you an idea of the amount of money that is being thrown at this thing. So USDT, $2 trillion in a format that is at any moment readily transferable into any coin. Bitcoin, Ethereum at any moment can be transferred. Not by one person, obviously, but the scope is there. It's only one click away. So you have to remember there's a lot of money just sitting there waiting to enter the market. So here we go. So we're looking at a few different coins here. You can go up here and amount 24 hours, and you can choose to to have a look at the 24 volume over here, 24-hour volume, and you can have a bit of a look to see what's actually happening here. So this OCN, you have to be mindful. So this is only at 3 cents at the moment, but you have to be mindful. You're looking at a coin like this, you might say, okay, well look at this. This is amazing. It's only come out probably recently, I would say. Looking at this, it's been out for a while. This one, you see, it's had a bit of a spike, and it's now on its way up. But would you invest at this point? No. And you say, why? It's on the way up. There's lots of volume. There's lots of interest. Look at the 24-hour volume. For me, no. Why would you invest into a pumped coin? Now, mind you, we're over here. I don't know if you can read that, but this is on an 8-hour timeline. Now, I'm a big advocate of using a 30-minute timeline just because it gives you a better scope of what's happening. And boom, here you go. You can see it's already on the downtrodden. Now, you look at it over 30 days. Here's your dates down here, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th of May. And maybe you can go, well, maybe, where do we go here, 334. So these are called Satoshis, or Sats. And you can see the fluctuation as I go in that column, just under the red. You can see it's gone 336, 335, 334, 333. This is your smallest unit of Bitcoin. So one Bitcoin obviously is worth whatever it is at the moment. I think it's 11,300 at the moment in Australian dollars. But these, we're talking sort of cents, and it is a bit of a pain. That's why you've got a conversion up here. If you're like me and you struggle with jumping in and out of fiat dollars, it's good when you have an exchange like this one where it actually converts it for you, and you can see that you're going to be buying 3 cents worth. Excuse me. So I'm not going to go into trading in this one. I just wanted to quickly show you how it works and how to look for exchange, and then you can, all these. I have no idea what any of these are. EOS, I do, EOS, which is like, they call it the baby Ethereum. I've got some of that. Electronium here, which is another little darling coin of mine. I've made quite a lot of money off this one. And I mean, a lot of these here, I don't know what they are. There's Bitcoin Cash. It's at 1,384 at the moment. That's down $200 from where it was the other day. So you can see that's the good thing about Bitcoin Cash. So I would be even considering, let's have a look at it. I'd be even considering buying some Bitcoin Cash at this point. Look at that, bang. Yes, so that's getting right down the bottom now. So that's come down a little bit. I personally would probably buy some more right now. I really would. But I'm not doing that at this point in time. I'm happy with my portfolio as it is. So yeah, anyway guys, this is a bit of a run through. It's 33 minutes we're coming into now. Yeah, this is it. This is the way that I'm going to teach you how to do these things. I'm going to set up our $20 in a particular way that is going to represent what we're doing here. I might skew the portfolio a little bit just so I can try and make some gains on the altcoins, and you're more than welcome to follow along with those coins and those investments that I make. But you have to remember the market at the moment isn't going crazy. So when I had a few really strong bull runs, I did that because I was able to do this because, well, 2 reasons. One, and probably the most important one, is I was set up to begin with. So right now the market is nice and it's cooling. It's it's had a bit of a rise, and now it's sort of plateauing a little bit, which is nice, and now it's had a bit of a dip, which is good. So people have obviously seen that there's been a bit of interest that's been created lately, so people are going to buy a bit more now, and it's going to jump up again, and it's going to get to a point where it's going to become fever pitched again, and people are going to start talking about it again, because people have sort of forgotten a little bit, and it won't take long and it won't take much for people to start raising their eyebrows and going, oh, I should get back into it and start doing things again. Because people are always looking for things to do. When it comes to sort of making money, and a lot of people have made a lot of money doing this, people are gluttons for it. So that's something else that you need to consider as well. So, and the second one was that I had my money in the right coins. So if you've got your money in your Ethereums, your Bitcoin, your LTC, your Litecoin, and also your Bitcoin Cash, when it does pump, these coins in particular pump really, really well. So being situated in coins that are actually going to have a big influence as a result, will be influenced as a result. It's where you want to be positioned. So that's the other aspect to it as well. And then of course there's the trading aspect where you need to be watching what the coin's doing. But as a general rule for myself, unless there's a bull run going on, I don't really like to spend too much time on it, because it's sort of the amount of effort you put into it for the gain that you get out of it is often not worth it in my opinion. But I don't know, having said that, maybe a lot of people got a lot of time on their hands to do this thing, in which case it would be perfect. But right now, for me at least, and I think for you, need to be getting yourself ready for the next bull run. And then when the next bull run comes, you're in a good position to remove the original capital investment, and then you can do whatever you like. You can follow me, and that's when it's fun. That's when you have a lot of fun. I guess the only other thing I didn't mention is taking profits along the way, which is something that the first time around I probably wasn't as disciplined with. I was relying too much on the idea that it was going to continue pumping when it sort of died off, and one of my regrets is that I didn't take enough profits. But you learn. This is part of it. You'll learn. You'll make mistakes. You'll make silly mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes where I've accidentally put in the wrong numbers. Fortunately, I haven't screwed up any addresses yet when transferring funds. I'm very careful with that, but when it comes to sort of doing trades, accidentally pressing the wrong button, then selling a whole lot of coins for really, really cheap, and of course somebody just picks them up within an instant. But anyway, I've taken up too much of your time anyway. Let me leave it at this. I look forward to speaking to you again. I'll hopefully have that $19 now in the account very soon. We'll start doing some fun trading, and you can trade along with me if you like. If not, yeah. Suit yourself. Okay, alright guys, have fun, and I will speak to you soon. How do I turn this off?